How's it going, you guys? My name is Casey Marshall. I'm here to share with you guys my favorite work of art. It's actually an album, and it goes by the name of Victory Lap. And the gentleman that represented the Victory Lap name is Nipsey Hussle, a Los Angeles native, born and raised in the struggles of a lot of slum and a lot of negative. It's just the environment was not healthy for anyone who grew up in there. I can relate to this because I grew up in a city right next to him in Inglewood, California. The struggle was never something that you would want to wish on anyone. And what I mean a struggle, I'm not meaning just a day-to-day struggle as far as, minor things. I'm talking about an actual surrounding struggle. I'm talking about an actual mental struggle, an actual physical struggle. These things are put on you around growing up in the inner city. And this album that he put out, he did an amazing job of painting a picture for those who grew up in the inner city to get out, and for those who are looking into the inner city to help out. I really appreciate this album 110%. It gets me through my day a lot. To me, this is still the top album of the year for me. And he really displayed a lot of things that we were talking about, and this is how I was able to relate to it. We're on the topic of hell, and it's HAIL, and that's being honest. And then the A stands for being authentic, and then the I stands for integrity, and then the L stands for love. He represents all of this in his album from the start to the end. And the amazing part is how you can relate to something growing up in the inner city by being yourself, by wishing everyone well, by showing and by leading these youth and people around to a higher expectation on becoming what you want to become by staying true to who you are. And I feel like that's the best definition of what hell stands for. Sometimes you got to understand, in a world growing up, and I grew up in the inner city alone, me and his culture, where he stayed and where I stayed, we didn't get along because it was a blood and crip kind of area. So I was not able to go on his side of the tracks, just like he wasn't able to go on my side of the track. And it was such a friction, and it still is a friction. But this album actually made a lot of people come closer because the words and the concept can relate to anybody in the inner city and in the struggle that they're going through, because this is something that everybody can relate to. And he made it clear that this is what you can relate to. You don't have to relate to being on this side of the track and that side of the track, but you are labeled. But this is speaking volumes of stepping outside the box and really striving for what you really want to strive for in life and sticking to it and not giving up. And that's one thing I really admire about this album. It's a Picasso to me. And then what I mean by Picasso, it's a very well painted picture of words with music and sound and harmony. It's all together that makes me, honestly, I listen to it every single day. There's not a day that I go by that I don't feel like I'm in this struggle, because I'm still in this struggle still to today. I'm just lucky enough to make it out without being a part of the gang culture, by still using education to get me to where I am now. And now I'm at Full Sail University, pursuing my music production. And hopefully one day I'll be able to work with this champion named Nipsey Hussle that set the bar and the standards high. I'd like to say thank you guys for tuning in and staying connected with me on this journey. Just like I would stay connected with you guys on the journey and answer some great questions. I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have as far as how it was, growing up in the inner city. I'm pretty sure you already know somebody that grows up, but everybody has their own journey and story about what they were surrounding and how they went about doing things. I took a different path. I've been at the bottom before. I understand what it's like to fight to get back to the top again and continue going. Never give up on your journey. Always understand, the key concepts of what you need to get you by, and understand the key concept of what you really need. That's what you really have to understand about just in everything in general, from going to school, from hanging out with people. My key thing that, like I said, about this album and how Victory Lap related to me about the most is the trajectory of voice in this whole Picasso of a work. He structured things from a point of view that, from a voice perspective, that you will only want to listen even more because it's projected out at you as understanding clearly of what the message is that he's trying to get across. And like I said, that goes back to what we were just running about, the toolbox. I feel like he had a consistent pace with the whole dialogue and the whole arts of rapping, and it was just amazing to me. So at the end of the day, everything that I can express and all my opinions that I have to give about this gentleman named Nipsey Hussle, it all comes from my heart. It all comes from a related perspective. It all comes from a place where we all can learn from. And the key thing about learning is you learn from every angle. And if you learn from one angle, you make sure that angle is so diversified that you can actually learn from others in this one box. And if you don't, it's a personal opinion. But at the same time, if you really want to grow and stay true to who you are and stay true to what you're doing, you'll understand how important it is to express what you have inside and to really get it out in a way that a lot of people can learn. My name is Casey Marshall. Thank you guys again.